And okay, so hello everyone, welcome to this kickoff of this book club. It's the first time I try a book club here in GitLab. I don't know how this is going to go, and we'll try to be as much async as possible on this. So I created the agenda over there. And okay, so I don't know. Everybody has the book already, right? Or close to getting. I got mine over here. It's a very sizable book, and this goes into my first point. I don't think we can expect ourselves to finish this entire thing. It's a lot of stuff. It's I don't know, and at some point, if we try to do it, people will just get bored and come out, and then expectations will broke. I would rather start with low expectations rather than high expectations on this, and find something that we can all be proud of accomplishing by the end of the time that we're gonna have this book club. Well, yeah, everybody can talk. Don't need to. I'm not keeping a talk over here. We're having a conversation. So, going back over here. Yeah, so also we get to mention that the first part is really cool. It's more about machine learning in itself, in a more simpler term. But the second part is really neural networks, which is also really cool, which is also really have its own very much strong applications. But it's also a little bit of an advanced, especially how it goes through on this book, a little bit of an advanced topic, but it's quite fun. So I don't know, your thoughts on this. What would you like to take out of this this time we're going to be studying this book?
Yeah, I can start. So like I wrote in the agenda, I'm pretty bad at finishing books. I'm good at buying them, but actually starting to read them and then go through them is a whole different story. So yeah, I'm just hoping that this will keep me like accountable to keep going on this and get some consistency in going through the book. And also like ML has been a thing I've been wanting to look into for a very long time, but never really take the time out of my day or anywhere to really get to know it at all. So yeah, already feel the first chapter has already taught me a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think I'll be finishing this book as well. I don't think I'll be reading all chapters. I skimmed through it and I selected a few chapters that interested me, more interesting to me, and then I'm going to be focusing on them. Otherwise, it gets really boring if you try to force yourself into the book. I mean, it can be rewarding by the end, but for me, as a person, I personally, I don't really like that. And the others.
So yeah, hi everyone, by the way, and definitely support Sam. And I think we are the same boat. So I'm good at buying technical books or technical courses, going halfway through or to some extent, and just then switching to something else. But I tried to start with machine learning and the domain around it a couple of times, getting in touch with some bases like linear regression and this very beginner approaches, but never really get down to the actual neural networks. By looking just at the prologue to the book, I thought that maybe it would be cool to like skip a little between these two sections. So start probably, I think it would be very beneficial to start with the intro, because they want to explain the fundamental concepts At least that's what the author stated. And I think, at least from my perspective, it would be nice to have my like fundament, like the baseline well set, and then go somewhere else, because in the latter part of the first section of the book, they say like they are going for the fine tuning and the like into the details how to deal with the machine learning without actual neural networks. And maybe this is a place where we could skip and say like, okay, we know the basics of the machine learning, and let's go to the neural networks to at least see this and get like at least a touch or a hint how this may look like, because well, it looks extremely interesting, but probably maybe hard to get into without getting at least basic information from the machine learning part.
Yeah, I agree.
The next one was me, but I think we skipped Ethan. You wrote before us, so if you want to, you can go now.
I was not following, I guess. I was just like, okay, everybody wants to talk about something.
Yeah, I thought it was a free for all. So sorry. And so it's basically like Sam said. I do the same thing. Buy books, start reading them, and then they pile up. And I feel good for having them, and feel accomplished for having bought them. And then I move on to something else. So I've done part of Andrew Ng's Coursera course. I've done some other like machine learning courses, but never like a full course of study. Never a full tech book. It's more like the tutorials and the little YouTube things. So I'm looking for kind of a more structured learning environment, and I'm because I've done some of the other stuff, like I can understand quite a bit of the first part, and the second part is really interesting as well. But I'm fine with doing either. Jumping around, I'm pretty open, because I'm just here to learn what I can, in a way that encourages me to get to the end.
Cool. So the next one is me. My name is Rigerta. I'm working at GitLab as a data engineer, and I'm studying a Masters of Sciences in Artificial Intelligence at the JKU University in Linz. And I actually know the part that interests me the most is ML ops. So whoever builds a machine learning algorithm, pretty cool, nice. To that moment and on, we need to actually serve it to somebody. And I really want to learn how to do this from start to end. It would be cool if I can implement a model myself, but you can, the very easy models, you can just read through an article on the internet, implement one, and then it's done. This is just the basis for me. So it's the input. I would really like to do CI/CD for the machine learning models, debug them, problems that can come, retraining, stuff like this. So that's why I said the deep learning part, the second part of the book, is not the most interesting for me right now, although I do have to pass some exams at university for it. But I will deal with it separately. So yeah, I would love to join the parts where we discuss maybe the first part of the book. I also had shortly, I wanted to mention that it's totally fine for all of us to only read the technical book on the parts that we care about. I mean, this is not a novel. The trick with our book club is that exactly this is not a novel. So we need to either agree on the chapters we want to check out, or we can separate in groups, I guess.
We are 20 people, right? There's 20 people, like not on this one meeting specifically, but there were 20 people who added the blue book on the issue. So there's a lot of people who will be interested on each specific chapter. We can break down later by chapter, by group, by goal, by background, whatever time zone, people who want to do pair reading rather than people who are only focused on implementing the algorithms. This is a very applied book, so it has code for everything, which is great, I guess, for all of us. This is what I enjoyed about this. This is the first time I run a book club this large, and I am learning as I go, and I don't want to be the person running it as well. Like I don't want to be the one. I want this to be more of a. I would like this to be more of like a self-guided thing by each one of us. But yeah, like I said, it's not a novel. It doesn't really matter if we skip one chapter or not. It's actually really cool because if each one of us is really different chapters, we can create summaries for the others of what is important or what is cool or the main learnings, and then it's just easier to go through everything, right? Or record a small video or do something, which is also great for people who come afterwards and want to learn more about everything that we're doing here. So it's a good format, I guess. We have Roy, and then we have Alexander.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm not very familiar with machine learning right now, but I always found it interesting. So at this point, I'm just joining the book club to get more familiar with it and yeah, get some motivation to actually dive deep in it and actually finish the book like most of us here, I guess. So yeah, I'm open to pretty much learning a little bit about everything or diving deep in one topic. Either is fine for me.
And then we have finally Alexander.
Yeah, so hello everyone, and it's for me it's a new experience, so never participated in such book clubs. And also I'm interested in machine learning, and in 2 months it will be nice to just get an overview, this principle understanding how it works. And for me it will be especially interesting how I can apply it in real life, what kind of tasks and practice maybe visit a little bit. So after that, to make it possible to just dive deeper if I want to, and to spend more time on it. So it will be great to just play with probably some code and do something actually. So that's it. And the whole course sounds promising. So thank you for creating that direction. And I was happy to see it and to join it.
It's a fun thing to do. It's also a really great way of connecting with people across teams, because we're mostly like on bubbles within our own team, especially on a remote setup, that we just do work with the people around us, except for code reviews, that we have a little bit more exposure to other people. But outside of that, it's really hard to get the opportunity to interact with people. And I've learned that from these interactions, a lot of new ideas can come up. When you start discussing the use cases of every different verify code review and then other stages, you get ideas coming up, and from ideas you get really nice, cool products, really nice, cool features, or cool collabs between different departments. I always had a lot of fun doing those. Okay, so I had some points on the document. Yeah, so the first one we already spoke about a bit is about setting the expectations. Like I said, it's going to be hard for us to go through the whole book. I also mentioned about this is not a novel. So I'm thinking about how can we be proud of, not proud, but like, okay, this is really cool that we did over this 5 months, and not feel like, okay, I lost. Like one of us like feel like they lost their time within this book club. And one idea is just choose, going through Gardaset, each one just chooses 4 or 5 chapters that really pick up our interest, and then go from there. So instead of, okay, I'm going to read the entire book, nah, just let's focus on a few chapters. I think that chapter 1, for the people who are not familiar with with machine learning. So at least chapter 1 and 2, I would say 1 through 4-ish are, if you don't know machine learning, are good. They're more about the concepts behind machine learning and the ideas and things. But the following ones are more about algorithms or techniques, chapters from 5 until 9. And those are optional. So we don't need everyone to study all of this, all of these chapters. It might be that some people are interested. So for example, I am more interested in the ensemble learning and the support vector machines. But I will not be reading the first, I will just be skimming through the first 2 chapters. But on the other side, on the part 2, there's also some chapters that I want to look at, not all of them, but just 1 or 2. I think if we do that, it's a lot easier to feel accomplished over this over this time. I don't want us to go through a full quarter or like 6 months trying to finish this, and everybody's just pushing it, and then it's just like an annoying experience. So I don't know. It's one idea, or I don't know how. So if anybody has other ideas on how to approach this, perhaps with coming up with a use case and finding through the book how to approach that use case, I don't know, as well. Comments?
Yes. I like this. I like this idea very much. I actually have already underlined my chapters, so I was prepared.
Okay, good. So just to get an idea, out of the folks that are over here who never had any exposure to machine learning, like who never had any study of machine learning so far. One, Alexander, did you study a bit machine learning before? Mikolash, some?
No.
So
Okay.
I tried the basics, like the linear regression or naive Bayes classifier, a little bit of pandas, this kind of things, but nothing very advanced.
Okay. No, it's just more of a curiosity rather than anything. I think this book is exactly for people. It has a lot for people who never did machine learning. The first 2 chapters are really good for people who never did machine learning, but it also has, for example, I really like the swim chapter because it's very thorough for people who even know and have experience with machine learning already. So it's definitely also within the chapters itself, if it's getting too complicated, it's getting too complex, or it might be that within the chapter, there's stuff that just doesn't click or it's not really important. It's fine for a skip. No, there's no book police that's gonna be stopping your house after and say, okay, no, you didn't read that specific chapter or whatever. It's anarchy. Do whatever you want. It's a book club. All right, and yeah, so definitely 1 to 4 are really good for beginners, and that's the second point that I had over here. Well, it's part of the second point. I already created this Slack channel for updates, but one thing is how do we go about discussing things? We have the issue where I'll be posting recordings and of the syncs. But if we want to discuss a problem or a question or whatever, we can do that in Slack. But the problem is that Slack dies. The message on Slack dies over time, and then the next folks that come out want to have the club won't have that. Could be on the Google Docs, but I think especially for this type of discussion that's more technical code and stuff like that, it's not really made for it. I don't know, ideas.
What is the second comment here? Eduardo and Sam wrote that having a repository where questions are added and everyone can see and respond, and that's some sort of notification to the Slack channel that a new issue was created. Does this mean that we create separate issues per question? That's a bit too much, or?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a bit too much. If I have a question, I create an issue. It would almost work like a Stack Overflow thingy. It can be an issue per chapter, perhaps, where we have the.
Actually, this makes a lot of sense now. More words, say more words.
Huh? What?
About this idea with the chapters.
Okay. Yeah, so you have one issue per chapter of the book or per chapter that you're going to read. And we tag the people that are going to read the chapter, right? Like the people that chose the chapter to be reading. And over there, you have the questions. Like you add one question and the discussions. So each question becomes one point on the thread, and you go about that. The good thing about having repositories is that we can create branches with code for the questions itself. So if you want to implement stuff on that repository, we can even add a code that we're trying to work on or whatnot, and have the questions on code in itself. I don't know. It was one idea that I had. I actually tagged some over there on that comment. I think I'll just remove this. Okay, yeah. So let me add this over here, Eduardo. Perhaps one issue per question is too much. More, but one issue per chapter and questions. And then if one question becomes too big, we can move that, we can promote that question into an issue or something. That will make out more sense. Questions as comments.
Comments.
Yeah, exactly. So next point.
We can all be like notified. So either actively we can go to these chapters. For example, if I only care about 4 chapters, I will set myself to get notified only on these 4 chapters.
Yeah.
And whoever comments there, I will get these comments. This is nice.
Yeah, I think it's a good setup. I like that one. I like that idea. And then in the end, we can summarize learnings on the issue description. So for the people who read the chapter, they can create a summary or a small video or whatnot, or I don't know, a musical about the chapter itself, if that's what they like. But well, some summary of the learnings. It can be like Sam said, each one requires a loom of quick learnings or just a post or whatnot. Prefer all. So yeah, I guess.
Okay.
This REPL repository. It's going to be one repository, right? We just need one repository. There is a BookClub repository project, or let me see this issue. The issue of the BookClub, where I don't even know where it is. I just clicked on a link where it had a create issue here, and I don't even know what repository is that.
It seems like it's already a project, but it's empty, so you can have the honor of doing the first commit.
Okay. It's just a project. That doesn't have any. So okay. Will someone do the honors of creating that for us? Creating a project and within the book club. If you don't have permissions, I think Samantha Lee can help with that. So she owns that thing. Okay, there is. Oh, there's another book club because there's also this book. There's also this over here. There's also this. It's all book clubs, which where the issue that we have for this book club exists. So, but there's also a repository for. Okay. Who created this? Okay, so anyway, there's an issue. Oh, this was 5 years ago. Okay, so
we can call ours a technical book club.
Okay, so who takes the lead on creating this? Who goes? Who volunteers for this? Just setting up the repository. We will figure out how to write the repository later. I need a volunteer. Or I will volunteer someone.
I've kind of lost track. So we're trying to create a repository for this book club, but it has to be under what?
It doesn't need to be under anything really. It can be
Okay.
under the GitLab con, or it's just that there is this project, book clubs, where we have an issue for this book club, but I think it should be another one. Otherwise, we just mix everything over there. Perhaps just a new repository for this, a new project for this, another repository, but a new project for this book club, where we can start adding the issues for each chapter. So if you choose your chapter, and you don't see an issue for that chapter, create an issue for that chapter. Otherwise, just leave it as is. Yeah. Otherwise, tag yourself on the chapter for that, on the issue for that chapter. So let me write it down. So I'll go over here. So create a project, and once we choose the chapters, we create issues for each chapter if they don't exist. They don't exist. For beginners, let me add it over there. For beginners, chapters 1 to 4 are recommended. Yeah. So I still need a volunteer.
I'm creating project as we speak.
Okay,
and
so
here it is.
We all are.
Okay. So yeah, cool.
Here it goes.
Good. Not like a little bit of peer pressure. Okay. So we have this repository, and then we create issues as we go. And
See why my slug was taken now.
Okay. So cool. That's solved. And I think this also goes over some of the next question, right? What ideas on how to make this as much asynchronous as possible. I think with having the everything through the issue, through the project that we create, can help a lot. Of course, we're gonna have some syncs here and there. It's nice to have syncs and talk about this, but I wouldn't like this to be the biggest driver for these discussions that we have. It's nice that other people will have access to this later. But anybody has any ideas on how to make this, how to improve an async experience for this this project, for this book club?
Just a wild idea. Since we are working through the issues for each chapter, while everyone who is interested in the issue or in the chapter, once we feel like, okay, we exhausted the topic, we reached the satisfying outcome, we then could set up the sync call and summarize what we learned, and this would be the summary of the this chapter, and we put it on the top of the issue in description, and anybody who is coming back in the future when the book club is finished, they could just go over and see this summary, like AMA or AMA free for all, something like that. Just one idea. That way, I guess we're getting the both async first. We're starting with the async and the summary with some kind of getting together and building this connection as well.
I like that idea.
I also like this idea quite a lot, actually. And it also allows people to go through the book sometime in different ways, right? Because some people are going to be more interested on the code. Some people are going to be more interested in the concepts, or someone might even have a specific use case that they want to explore. Okay, I think it's a good idea. Any other ideas?
I think something like that, and coupled with an issue per chapter to capture the all the questions and the back and forth and everything. And then using Slack for notifications. That's going to go a long way to making it async. I think that's a good place to start, and we can kind of iterate from there and see how we can tweak it.
Yeah.
I created an issue for the first 5 chapters. And I think it would also be quite cool if we want to share code snippets, do like a folder per chapter, and then everyone can just create a subfolder for their own username to push code to there. If there's
or branches
discussions.
Yeah, I was thinking branches might be a good.
Now that we have notebook diffs, we can even have like almost code reviews on the code that we create for this. You're welcome. But it's yeah, I think it's a good idea.
I was thinking actually that while we walk through the chapters, we might need to write the code ourselves, but I am so sure it has to be somewhere on some Git repository from this book.
Yeah, this is available online. The code for this book is available online. It will be more if you want to try out variations. There are exercises by the end of each chapter that we can try to implement as well. The answers are in the back of the book, but there's some exercises that are somewhat interesting if you want to get your hands dirty. So we could discuss the exercises as well for the chapter or something like that. We can even precede the issues of, I think that's a good idea actually. I'm going to precede the issues of the chapters with the exercise questions of the chapter in itself. So I'm going to add one question for each chapter, then it's already a way of discussing. I'm going to even write it down. Eduardo, Sid, the issues repository, the issues, chapter issues with the questions, exercise questions. Well, there's not something as like as a precede, you seed something. Precede is just weird. It's unnecessary. Okay, good. Oh yeah, thanks. I'm gonna add this into the main issue of 40. I added that into the main proposal 40 code. And I'm gonna write down this into the protocol that we have on the main issue for this thing. I'm going to write that's the decisions that we made here for the protocol. So the schedule will be pretty much, at least from what I got here, the schedule of next, except this kickoff, we're going to have another one next week. So it's going to be very much ad hoc meetings, things once the people that are comfortable in the chapter are okay with want to have a sync or they are okay. We can add an emoji so that they know that everybody is done with that chapter, or it's going through, or I don't know, give up on the chapter. Some people might not want to, and it's okay. If you feel like this is not delivering value to you, or not the value you would expect, it's okay to drop. The worst thing is to lose your own time over this. There's no pressure at all. This is not going to show up on your performance evaluation, so I'm not going to tell your manager or anything. Perhaps I'm going to tell your mom, but no, your parents or something. But no, it's okay. So if this is too much, things come up. It's priorities change. We are trying our best here to learn something new. Sometimes it's not possible. Sometimes it's okay. Don't feel pressured into continuing just because peer pressure. Well, but some people here are looking exactly for that, right? So if that's the case, also cool. Who am I to judge anyone? So that's cool. Okay. Oh, Brett just joined us. We had some discussions, Brett. Hi, Brett. On the document itself. Just summarizing everything that we spoke about today. It was mostly about the process that we're going to follow. So each one, instead of trying to read the entire book, we're going to each one choose a few chapters, like 5 or 6 chapters that we want to look at. If you're a beginner, recommendations are chapters 1 through 4, at least. Then for these chapters, we go into the repository that was created, the project, and each chapter is going to have an issue. Tag yourself into that issue, because it means like people will be talking more about that specific chapter over there. So instead of having like a book club, we're going to have multiple chapter clubs. You can think about it this way. And then once everybody's ready reading that chapter, we're going to have they get together and summarize their learnings and get their discussions. So it's going to be mostly async book club. And if you feel like you want someone to nudge you and ask if you are following through, well, ask a peer to help you out. If anyone else has any other comments that are anything you want to talk about already. No? Good.
Sounds good.
So I'll be stop recording and I'll be close this off. I'm going to give everyone else 2 minutes back. And thanks all for joining. I'm very excited about this. I hope it is as fun to you as it is to me. We'll chat over the issues and over Slack. Have a good one.
Thanks for
Thank
this.
you. Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye bye.